I was never the kind of man who cared much for toys. I didn't grow up with many, and by the time I could afford them, I was too old to bother. But sometimes life has a strange way of handing you things you didn't ask for, like a toy that stares back. It started when I was browsing a dusty flea market on the outskirts of Shreveport, Louisiana, the kind of place that smells like mildew and forgotten things. A corner booth had a cluttered pile of ceramic cats, chipped china dolls, and other bric-a-brac. Nestled among them, sitting upright on a stained yellow pillow, was something that caught my eye. A Labubu doll. I'd seen the designer toys online. Wide, pointed ears, exaggerated grins, and eyes that made them look like something between a goblin and a forgotten cartoon. But this one was different. Its fur was stained, like it had been soaked in tea or old blood. Its grin was cracked, the porcelain beneath the paint, revealing a jagged line running down to its chin. And the eyes. Oh God, the eyes. They were glass, yes, but they had a depth to them, a wetness, like looking into a pond at night and feeling something look back. $20, the seller rasped. An old woman with white cataracts and a set of fingernails long enough to curl into themselves. Take it or leave it. I bought it. God help me, I bought it. I took it home planning to maybe clean it up, photograph it, and resell it online. But that night, I couldn't sleep. Not because of the usual insomnia, but because I kept hearing whispers. Just under the buzz of the ceiling fan. Just behind the hum of the refrigerator. Whispers in a language I couldn't place. Guttural. Broken, like someone had taught a corpse to speak. And every time I glanced over at the shelf where the Labubu sat, I could swear its head was tilted a little further to the side, its grin just a little wider. The third night is when things got wrong. I woke up to a metallic smell. Iron, copper, blood. My pillow was soaked. I staggered to the bathroom, flipped the light, and screamed. I was crying blood. Thick red tears ran down my face like syrup. My eyes weren't injured. They didn't even hurt. But the blood kept coming, drop by drop, staining the sink as I stared at myself. And behind me, reflected in the mirror, was the Labubu. Sitting on the bathroom counter, I hadn't brought it in there. I turned. It was gone. I tried throwing it out the next day. I wrapped it in a garbage bag, drove 10 miles out of town, and dumped it in a bin behind an abandoned mini-mart. When I came home, it was sitting on my kitchen table. Its glass eyes seemed wet again. That night I dreamt I was inside a dark, cramped room. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, could only see through 2 tiny, distorted windows. Eyes. A little girl in a pink dress picked me up, spun me around, then threw me against the wall. I heard a crack, felt the pain of it echo in my skull. I woke up sobbing, blood staining my cheeks again. The visions became frequent. Every time I blinked, I saw another fragment. A child yanking on my ear until it tore. A dog chewing on my limbs. Fire licking at my fur as someone laughed in the background. And then, the realization. These weren't just hallucinations. They were memories. Each one from a different Labubu doll. Each one from a different soul. I started researching. Digging into forums, obscure subreddits, Japanese urban legends. It took weeks, but I found it. A thread from 2009, long since buried. Do not buy the glass-eyed ones. There's a factory in Hokkaido, experimental run in the late 90s. Dolls infused with human remains. Urban legend says the artists were part of a spiritualist cult. They believed that if you could bind a soul to the body of a doll, it would achieve immortality. But the soul would be trapped, forced to view the world through the doll's eyes, forever. And then, below that, they cry through you, when they remember too much. I went back to the Labubu. I looked into its eyes. They were bleeding. Thin streams of red trailing down its cheeks. Not paint, not dye, real metallic wet blood. And I understood. They were watching me, hundreds of them, souls, all packed behind those shiny glass spheres, people who had died horribly, souls stolen and fused into cheap resin and painted fur. And now, I was part of it. Because that night, as I fell asleep clutching a kitchen knife, I dreamt again. But this time I wasn't looking through my own eyes. I was looking through theirs. Through itself. I was the doll. I was sitting on a shelf, my body unmoving, my eyes forever open. I watched as my own body, my real body, walked into the room, turned to face me, and smiled. It reached down, picked me up, and whispered, "We needed another." I've tried everything since then. Exorcisms, burning it, drowning it, smashing it. But every morning, it's there again, sitting closer, smiling wider. And now, I barely sleep, because I know what happens when I do. I feel myself slipping more each time. I'm losing time, losing control. I'll wake up in strange places, holding small toys with bleeding eyes. And worse, sometimes I wake up and I can't move. Can't breathe. Only see. Only watch. Only witness. If you ever find a Labubu with glassy eyes that seem too real, don't touch it, don't look into them. Because the moment you do, they start looking back. And they're lonely. And they want out.